On February 5th, there's a full moon in Leo, making a square to Uranus, the planet of change. This means there's disruption all around us, and that is your key for getting out of a stuck place, out of stagnation, and making a change yourself. What does this mean for you? That's what we're going to talk about. Hi everyone, I'm Donna Stellhorn, your practical astrologer, and today we are talking about the full moon. It's on February 5th. It's at 16 degrees of Leo. We're going to do a short overview, and then we're going to go sign by sign. By the way, I'm working on some new video courses for you, and the one that I have out right now is called Tarot Reading the Natural Way. If you've ever wanted to learn how to read the tarot, check out the link in the description. So the full moon allows us to become aware of something by putting a spotlight on it. And so as we're going sign by sign, we're going to be looking at where that spotlight is in your life. Now, it's this particular full moon, because there's a square to Uranus, you may be receiving extra messages. And so this is that a few days before the full moon and a few days after, you could come up with different ideas that you've never thought of before, something that seems to have come out of the blue. That is usually some information from the universe. And so we're going to talk about where and what that's going to be about as well. Now, this particular full moon is square Uranus, and Uranus is the planet of revolution. This is the energy of letting go and embracing the new. So, Uranus loves freedom, and it wants to do the things that it wants to do. And so it inspires us to search out new ways of doing things. And this does mean, though, that we have to let go of old rules, old obligations, look at what we can complete so that we have the freedom to move forward. Some of these things can become obstacles in our life to moving forward. And these can be internal obstacles, our own self saying that we're afraid, that we don't know whether we should move forward or if we're going to be successful. They can also be external obstacles such as time or resources or people standing in our way. Now, Uranus wants to enthusiastically blast through these. And so that's some of the energy now, and it can make us very excitable, it can make us irritated, it can make us impulsive and want to move forward at any cost. And so if you become aware of this energy, then you can make some good choices. Now, the interesting thing about this square, because squares usually facilitate action, but this is Uranus and Taurus, which is a fixed sign, and this full moon is in Leo, which is a fixed sign. And so there is this inclination to stay put in a single location, in a single place, until you have decided which way to go. But with a square like this, that's kind of like sitting at an intersection in the middle of the street, trying to decide if where you want to go is to the right or to the left. And so what's more important now is just to make a choice, just to start moving. And then in the motion, you will see whether you're going the right direction or not. And if you're not, you can make a quick U-turn and then go the right direction. Now, we are all doing Uranus and Taurus. We're doing it in different areas of our life, but the bottom line about Uranus and Taurus is looking at new ways of bringing in resources, and that would be revenue mostly. Also, though, the things that make us happy in life, comfortable in life, those things that get us through day-to-day living. So Uranus and Taurus says, change that up, do something different. And so we have seen during this transit of Uranus and Taurus big, huge changes in how people work. Lots of talk about different types of currencies that could happen, that maybe cash is no longer going to be around in the future. Maybe these digital currencies will be something. So there's so many different changes that are happening on a very fundamental level. And that can cause us to feel very unstable or uncertain. And yet, if we're in motion, we are going to feel more certain. We're going to feel better. Now that we're in the rabbit year, and the rabbit year holds this promise of a more quiet, sedate, an easier year. We still have this overlap energy currently, still a little bit of tiger happening. Also, we do have difficult aspects like this square. And we have a couple of eclipses coming up. And so the first half of 2023 is not so typical rabbit. It is going to be more active. Now, what does a rabbit do in times of stress? The rabbit hightails it out of there. And that means that one of the advantages you have right now is you can move very quickly when you see that a change is necessary. This is the first opportunity to test that ability. So as we go sign by sign, we are going to be looking at where this full moon is lighting up your chart, as well as where that Uranus says to make a breakthrough. And what could happen during this full moon time is one of those obstacles in your path suddenly is obliterated and you can move forward. So just to let you know, we are doing tropical Western astrology. It's a good idea to listen to your ascending sign or rising sign if you know it. And that's going to tell you what's happening in your life. If you don't know your rising sign, then listen to your sun sign. That is going to tell you what you need to work on. If you would like a copy of your chart, you can send me your birth info and I'll send you a PDF. The link is in the description. Also, if you would like an in-depth reading, I do readings, and so that link is in the description. Also, I've written books. I write some columns for horoscope.com and astrology.com. There's lots of information out there, so I hope you find that. The links are in the description. And I really want to say thank you for those of you who have been following me for a while. I really appreciate it. You've helped this channel grow, and that has given me the opportunity to do more for you by being able to put out more content. And so thank you so much. Okay, let's go sign by sign. Okay, Aries, you're doing this full moon in your 5th house. This is about highlighting fun, creative expression, romance, adventure. And so these are the things that you're looking for over this next 2 weeks. Now, this is being squared by Uranus in your house of money and values. And so this is very much where if you want to have more fun in your life, you want to be more creative, you want to express yourself, you have to change something about the financial picture that you have or your values. And the values could represent old rules that you have about money. Maybe there were your parents' rules or society's rules. And so an example of that we see in society today is kind of like van life. I mean, the very, very different set of values goes into van life than there was, years ago when it said, you have to have a house and you have to have a mortgage and you have to have these things. So this is the kind of thing that you're looking to change, to break your rules, whatever those rules and wherever they came from about this. And when I say break the rules, I mean really re-examine the rules to see if they're still valid. And with this, then that leads to more creativity and fun. Now, when it comes to love relationships, not only is the full moon in your house of romance, which is the 5th house for those of you who are keeping score, and it is also that the sun is making a trine to Mars. So there is some real opportunities here to meet someone new or to move a love relationship forward. And so if that's what you're looking for, this is a time during this 2 weeks to consider, going to the party, going to do something social. Yes, I know some people are going to say, how can I start a new relationship on the full moon? But it would indicate that you were taking the run up to the full moon to prepare for this. And now that the party is here or the height of energy is here, now is when you meet the person. Now, when it comes to friendships, you have a semi-sextile going on between Uranus and Mars, plus the sun is there in that 11th house, helping you out to meet new friends. So, and, I get a lot of people who say, that they're having trouble meeting friends because, after so much of this lockdown, virus sort of stuff, that we're just out of practice. So here's your opportunity to go out, because people are going to notice you. They will seek you out, and then you can get something started. Oops, I kind of did that one out of order. So let's go back to relationships. And when we look at existing love relationships, Venus is making a square to Mars. That means that the two of you are kind of bumping heads a little bit this time. So there is something where if you're making a change and they're making a change, that maybe you need to talk it out. Maybe you need to make sure that you're on the same page. You can do a square where you are both a united front and you are dealing with something external, or, less positive would be to turn on each other and have that little battle between the two of you. So it's quite possible that you are working out something and you just need to, it's Mars and Gemini, so communicate, listen to each other, understand each other, and from there you would be able to become that united front. So your love relationship, your existing love relationship, does look like it could be a little bumpy during this time, but bumpy does lead to growth. So that's what's going on. Now, when it comes to your money, we're still looking at that Venus, which is now sitting in your 12th house. So this is a time to go behind the scenes and do some planning. This is where maybe you have the big ideas and now you need to, work out the structure or the framework of that idea. Perhaps you need to just meditate on this because you're looking for some answers. And so you need to have that discussion with God and the universe about what direction to go or who to work with. So this may be that you are, laying out tarot cards or looking at your own astrology chart to check in on the timing. So this is to go inward and look at the spiritual part of what's going on with your money or your plans to make more money, because this is a quieter time, a meditation time for you. Now, when it comes to money derived from your business or from your investments, Venus is making a semi-square to Pluto. So this is a very active energy. Pluto is high up in your chart in the 10th house. That is career. So there is an opportunity, but it is going to require a little bit of energy and action to make it happen. So that means you can't just settle and wait for someone to come to you. You are going to have to make the suggestion, set up the meeting, ask for the sale, that sort of thing. So it is possible because there is an aspect. We always like to see an aspect, but it is going to take a little bit of work. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, you have some very good energy because Venus is making a sextile to Uranus, plus the sun is in that house. So it's lighting up that house right now. That means that if you've been thinking about, asking for a raise, this is the time to do it. If your supervisor is willing to sit down with you to talk about, your career trajectory in general, this is a time to be looking at that. There may be a job opportunity that you get offered also during this time. Remember, now at this point, there's nothing retrograde, so you can move forward. So this is some very good energy. Okay, Taurus, you guys are doing this full moon in your 4th house. And so this is very much about an awareness of home, awareness of your family and the people that live in your home and nearby your home, like what's going on in your neighborhood. And so this could be, do you like where you live? Are you thinking about moving? Are you decluttering? Are you redecorating? Are you renovating? What are the relationships like with family members, those who live in the home with you or the extended family? Are you building a little mini community in your apartment complex or with your neighbors? So all of this full moon energy is focused right here. Now, this is being squared by Uranus in your own sign of Taurus. And the whole transit of Uranus and Taurus has been challenging for you because Uranus requires change and Taurus doesn't like to change. So sometimes this energy is like a freight train. It's just moving down the track and we're asking the train to change directions. And the train's going to say, I'm on a track. It's very difficult to change. So this is where it's necessary for you to examine things that you've been doing a long time or things that you're hoping will not change and asking yourself, well, I'm hoping this won't change. Why is that? What is it about a change that I think is not going to be beneficial or going to be too difficult? Or, if there is a change that's happening, how will it be beneficial? How could it be good? So to look at opening yourself up to this idea that there could be a change of tracks. It doesn't mean that this is going to be some huge, gigantic change. This is just a full moon. This is 2 weeks. But this is about looking at the possibility that there could be a change. And when we're talking about home and family, a change in how you're relating to a family member, maybe helping them move, maybe looking at some of the stuff you have and giving that out among family, or bringing a family member in to help you do something different with the house itself. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Venus is making a semi-square to Mercury. This is not the most comfortable aspect. So this may be that you are really wanting a love relationship, but you don't want to go online, you don't want to go out of the house, you don't really want to meet anybody new. And so you are kind of working against yourself and maybe the limitations that you've imposed. And so that's the thing that could be holding you back. So with this challenging energy, if you do meet someone, then your schedules may not line up. So it may be hard to get together, or there is something about the person or the situation that makes the relationship less ideal, like one of you still in a relationship, or there's a big distance between the two of you. So this is quite challenging energy, so you may want to wait till outside this 2-week period to start something new. Now, when it comes to your existing love relationships, Venus is making a semi-square to Pluto. So again, we've got some of this challenging energy, and that is that it may be that other people, well, this is your love relationship, so it would be one person who is telling you that you should change this, you should change that, and maybe you're feeling resistant to it, or maybe you're on board with the change, but they're so used to you not changing that they're now all flummoxed because, you're suggesting something different. So this, Mars is in Gemini right now. It is facilitating conversations, and so that can really help if you just sit down with your partner and talk things through. I think that this could go better. It is, if you're feeling pushed or if you're feeling pressured, then to just, recognize that the other person has your best interests in mind, and you just need to say to yourself, okay, we're just going to talk about this and then things will be better. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Mercury, which is in your house of contracts and agreements, and it is ruling Mars, which is in your house of money. So you have some really great opportunities right now for getting a contract or some sort of agreement that is going to lead to money. And so this may be that you're just reaching out to someone and doing kind of a handshake deal. Hey, let's get together and do a collaboration, or let's talk about sitting down and building a business together. Or this could be something that's quite formal, where you're doing your partnership agreement and now you're getting it signed, etc. So this is some bigger, because again, this is a 2-week aspect, but a bigger opportunity for you to look at contracts that may be coming in, agreements of all kinds, something maybe that deals with international, like import-export is possible, or that you're doing some sort of licensing for your business. So because this 9th house also deals with government agencies and licensing. Government agencies can be in a lot of different houses depending on what aspect of government that you're doing. That's why I hesitated. So this is more like permits, licensing, etc. Now, when it comes to money derived from your business or from your investments, Mercury is not making an aspect with Jupiter. So you're making about the same as usual. In fact, there could be a little bit of extra outgo, maybe for these types of agreements that you're doing, or perhaps you're doing some sort of marketing, and so you're more focused on that. So, but in general, this is not lining up to be the big windfall. So if you get a big sale or something, you're getting paid outside this 2-week period. So I'm not seeing anything negative here for this. I'm seeing some positive energy, but it's more that you are working on things rather than actually getting to, have the treasure at the moment. Now, when it comes to money derived from your career, that would be like a paycheck. Now you have the sextile going on between Mercury and Neptune. So now you have an opportunity to make more money by when you're working for someone else. And so that could be better commission or a raise or some sort of bonus. Venus is there as well. And so this may be a little less financial, but maybe more like a gift card for something. But there is some opportunity here to make more money when you work for someone else. Okay, Gemini, you guys are doing this full moon in your house of communication and versatility, movement, and everything from your vehicle to your neighborhood, also how you deal with your siblings, it's your thinking process, all the very Gemini types of things. And so this is one of the best full moons for you, where you have this spotlight on all the things that really resonate with Gemini energy. So that's really great. But you are thinking that you need some sort of change because here comes that square to Uranus. Now, Uranus is squaring you from the 12th house. That is this sort of kind of the inner thought that you should be doing something different or something could be different. And so you might be looking at maybe a different type of communication like journaling or meditation or prayer. It's possible that your mind is just receiving messages from the universe and from your higher self. And so it's almost like a download that you're getting. And that is reordering how you think that things should be. And so it's kind of like, maybe the things are getting moved around in your priorities or just how you think of things. You might be just seeing things differently. You might go from glass half empty to glass half full. And so this could lead to some sort of breakthrough. And the breakthrough could be through some activity that involves movement. And so maybe you're doing some sort of art or a sport or something like that, and it just comes together. And so that's what I think this Uranus square is going to be. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Venus is making a semi-square with Mercury. So if you like to meet somebody who you're going to banter with, if you don't mind getting into a relationship where you're going to argue about things and talk about like deep points and philosophical ideas, yeah, this is good. But in general, this is not the most harmonious of aspects. And so if you do meet someone, there is some sort of friction going on. And maybe that is the person that's asking you out isn't your ideal. Maybe you're asking someone out and they're not sure. There could be a distance issue or just timing issues. But what I'm thinking is it's going to be a little bit more that you have different ideas about things and that maybe you love having these discussions, almost arguments, but if that's not what you're looking for, you might want to wait to meet someone new until we're out of this 2-week period. And then when it comes to existing love relationships, there's no aspect going on between Mercury and Jupiter, which means that the two of you are just kind of moving along in your own realms, not dealing with any of the hard stuff. It's just comfortable. It's just the way it's been. And so not a lot of change is happening. And so if you were looking for a change in your existing love relationship, that's probably not happening over the next 2 weeks. But it's also that I'm not seeing points of contention, I guess, unless that's the norm. But even then, with no aspect between the two of you, it's, you might be thinking that you're going to sit them down and talk about something, but it just doesn't happen. So I think that mostly you're going along, just as usual. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that moon, which is in your house of ideas. And we were talking earlier about the downloaded ideas from the universe. And so this is like a lot of ideas. So, it would be important to write down some of these ideas, things that you're interested in, things you're interested in investing in. And when you get the moment, then you can do the research necessary or start to find the people who can help you with this. But you're getting a ton of ideas. And that's that's wonderful. This is the thing that you're looking for. I think a lot of these ideas are way outside the box. And so again, just write them down, even if they sound outrageous, because they could be something that where you're on trend, but you're just way ahead of people, or it's something so different that right now you need to process it before you figure out how to do it. Now, when it comes to money derived from your business or from investments, the moon's not making an aspect with the sun. Now, your ruler, Mercury, is in that house and moving forward now. So something is coming along. And so I think you're going to make a little bit more than usual, but not that much. I think the bigger payday is outside this 2-week period. So if you've been waiting for something to come in, that might arrive now. But if you're looking for, like your stocks to go up and all that, it's probably not enough quite yet for you to really capitalize on this. I think this is just you're watching some improvement in your business, etc., but it's slow and steady right now. Now, when it comes to money derived from careers, so like a paycheck, the moon's making a sextile to Mars, so there is a great opportunity right now for you to get more money from your employer, and that could be in the form of a raise or better commission or some large sales or more hours, depending on how you get paid. So this is definitely something you want to pursue. You have a lot of luck in this area right now, and Mars is in your own sign, and that's part of this whole configuration. So this also could mean that you get an offer from another job and you can negotiate for a better salary, so you have some really good energy in this area. Okay, Cancer, you guys are doing this full moon in your house of money. That's the second house. So this is that time where you have a great deal of focus on your money. And that is how much money is coming in, how much money is going out, what are the prospects of making more. This is also about your values. And that is what you're prioritizing in your life. What is important to you? Do you value having a certain level of comfort and prosperity in your life? Are you valuing savings over spending, etc.? So, and this is all being squared by that Uranus in Taurus in your 11th house, and that is not just the future, but also friends and community. And so this is where maybe your friends are saying, your priorities are off, you need to reorder these, or you deserve so much more. Why are you undercharging? Why are you not fighting for more in your life? It's also that your friends and community can help you, and that is maybe it's time to ask for help, help finding another job, help looking at your business, getting your website done, things like that. This is also about technology. So what can you automate in your life, especially around your finances? Maybe you need the automatic bill pay. Maybe you are looking at different ways to make passive income. And so you're looking at using technology to do that. This is also about the future and where you might see yourself a year from now, 5 years now, 10 years from now. And instead of just saying, okay, I see myself with $1 million, but how did you get there? And going out to that point on your timeline and then taking the steps back to see how you got there. So all these things are very possible. The Uranus is here to help you turn things around if that's what's necessary, or to bring you some exciting prospect, some exciting idea, and that's all regarding your money. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, the moon's not making an aspect with Pluto right now. So even though Pluto is in your house of relationships and still going to be there on and off all year, when the moon lines up with it, which does happen quite often, that's when you can meet somebody and really click. So this next 2 weeks, it's not so strong. And so work on other things. Maybe if you have some friendships going, move those forward, or work on your personal projects, work on things for the family, etc. So, or just go out and have fun, have adventures. You got Venus up in your 9th house for, doing a little bit of travel. So do that and maybe not focus so much on new love over the next 2 weeks. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the theme's pretty much the same. The moon does not make an aspect with Saturn. So again, it really feels like the focus is more on you and taking care of you rather than your usual MO of give, 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 give. So this is where maybe if you pause for a moment, that you'll start to receive from some of the people around you. So when it comes to your existing love relationship, it looks like the two of you are you're working together just fine, but you're not coming together to work on something with each other. You're more, you're doing your specific things that you do in the relationship. They're doing their specific things, and everything's moving along in that way. Now, when it comes to friendships, the moon is making an inconjunct with Venus. And so that means that you can find new friends and make friendship connections, but it's an inconjunct, so there has to be some sort of adjustment made. Then that might mean just getting out of the house, going to something, an event, or some sort of venue where you can meet new people. It may mean that you need to adjust to a friend's schedule so that you can do some things together. They only can do things at night and on Wednesdays or something like that. Or maybe just to look at friendship differently. Oftentimes when we're adults, to have a friendship really grow, we need a shared goal, because otherwise we just come together and, like you talk about your kids and I talk about my cat and that sort of thing. And so that's not really connecting. But if we have something that we're working on together, maybe a community project, maybe a similar hobby or something like that, then a friendship can really grow. Now, when it comes to your money, you are pulling money from the sun, which is in a money house, and that is very much about investments and creating your own business, etc. So if this is something you've been thinking about doing, that you are now have energy to move this forward, maybe it's time to look over your investments and see, if you're well diversified, if you've got money in the right places, etc. Maybe you're starting out investing and this is your first brokerage account, or you're buying your first share of stock, or, getting into real estate investing or things like that. So this could be the beginning of something, especially because, as we talked about before, we have that community piece where that Uranus is doing that square to the moon in the money house. It feels like something new is going on with you when it comes to finances. Now, when it comes to money derived from your business or from investments, the sun is making a square to Uranus, and so there is a lot of activity. Plus, the full moon's in a money house, the sun's in a money house, Uranus is in a money house. That's pretty good. So you want to look at new opportunities, and you may be offered something new in the way of a business opportunity, a new type of investments. You want to look these things over and see if these are right for you. Just because you're offered it, you don't want to just jump at it. There's still a need to do your due diligence, but you have some very good energy for making more money than usual over the next 2 weeks. And then when it comes to money derived from career, so this is like a paycheck, the moon is making a semi-sextile to Venus, plus we have all that stuff that we just talked about, activated money houses. So there is an opportunity for you to make more money. Now, the semi-sextile says it's not as much as you were hoping, perhaps, or there are some couple of strings attached. Maybe these are okay strings. There may be something where you have to go into the office more or do some travel, or maybe there are some sort of reports you have to do on a more regular basis that aren't that fun. There's something here that's not, perfect, but it's still pretty good. I think you'll make a little bit more if you work for somebody else over the next 2 weeks. Okay, Leo, this is your full moon, and so this marks the halfway point of your lunar year. And so it's kind of like an extra full moon, like it's a bigger full moon. And so, we've talked a little bit about the moon phases on this channel, and so the energy is kind of like the party, right? And so up until this time, which would have been the last 6 months, this was like thinking that you want to have a party, starting to plan the party, sending out the invitations, and then, cleaning up the house, making the hors d'oeuvres and all that. So now we're at the party. So the time now is to be present in what you've created. it would be kind of silly to do all of this to the run up to the party, and just as the party begins, you go off and go to the movies. So this is not necessarily a time to start something new, but to look at things that are related to what you've been working on and see how you can really maximize those, how you can put those out into the world if you haven't already, how you can make them bigger if that's what's necessary, like do something where you're putting attention on what you've been working on already. Now, this is all getting a square from Uranus in your house of career. So now we can focus that energy and say, this is the time to be asking for a promotion. This is the time to be looking to climb the corporate ladder, or to expand your business, or to look at doing something that maybe you've been doing as a hobby, but do it professionally. Or maybe it is to multiply yourself by you pulling in a team so that you can do more of what you do best rather than all the back office stuff of a business. So this is where the Uranus is challenging you and saying, rethink what you're doing with your career so that you can really maximize the things that you've been working on. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, the sun's making a semi-square to Jupiter. So and this has been the theme. So it's not just you, but there's quite a few signs in this 2-week period that are not doing good energy around new love. And so it just looks like right now this is more about friendships and creating connections with people for other reasons. The semi-square is a fairly contentious energy. So if you did meet someone during this 2-week period, maybe you are kind of bickering with each other, or the person irritates you because they don't text you often enough, or they text you too often. So there's something that's a little bit off about this energy. So you may want to meet the person that you're communicating with outside this 2-week period. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the sun's making a square to Uranus. Now, generally, the square energy is extremely active. So if the two of you can get together on a project, you can make enormous headway. You can go from 0 to 60 in mere seconds. And so anything from house renovations to getting on a trip to working on investments, like if you have the same idea, you're going to work together and you'll do fantastic. You don't want to turn this energy on each other because this is fairly contentious energy. And so if there are points of contention between the two of you, you're both ready to come out swinging. So this is where you have to find your united parts of this relationship and leave those, differences. Maybe it's a political difference, or you like different sports teams or something like that. Leave those to work on those when there's more harmonious energy. Now, when it comes to friendships, you have some interesting energy because Mars is in that house still, and the sun is making a semi-sextile to Mercury. So it's okay energy. I mean, there's an aspect. I love to see an aspect. An aspect means that something can happen. So this, though, looks more like some sort of friendships with coworkers. So that might mean going to a happy hour, or maybe having lunch with a coworker, or maybe you're back in the office and so you're seeing people again and so you're reconnecting. So this is pretty good energy. It's not super, super good, but it's pretty good energy. Most of it is centered around being friends with coworkers. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Mercury, which is now direct, and it's barreling towards Pluto, and it's in your house of routines and habits. And so this is about looking at your habits, looking at the things you do on a daily or weekly basis, and seeing if these are conducive to you gaining the wealth that you want. And maybe this is kind of that latte rule, like if you're spending $3.50 or $4.50 or $5.50 every day on a latte, maybe, putting that in your savings account would be better. But this may be just about mindset of how you're approaching things on a daily basis. Are you looking at things and saying there is an opportunity here to make money or build a business from it? So that could be the shift. It could be that you feel like you should get up earlier or work later or things like that. So this is about, what are your routines? What are those habits? Are they facilitating you in finances, or are they holding you back? Now, when it comes to money derived from a business or from investments, you look like you're making a little bit more than usual because Mercury is making a sextile to Neptune. So there is some positive energy here. It needs to be activated. And the one thing that might be working against you is Venus is in that house, and Venus is very comfortable and doesn't really want to do anything. And so here your opportunity is if you take an action, you can make more money. And if you don't, you make about the same as usual. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, so that would be like a paycheck, that's that Mercury that is moving towards that conjunction with Pluto. So that is very much about, yes, you can make more money, absolutely, but you will have to do something different at work. That might mean working a different shift, working extra, overtime on projects, shifting from hourly to salary. There could be some big ask that your supervisor gives you to get this raise. So be aware of that. Getting a new job during this time is very strong because that a transformation of your daily routine could be a brand new job, new coworkers, new duties, things like that. So there is some really good energy for making more money than usual, especially, having that start over this next 2 weeks. But it will come at some sort of, when you change something about your routines or what you're doing as your duties. Okay, Virgo, you guys are doing this full moon in your house of intuition and spirituality. This is also your house of escapes, distractions, and there are so many sweet, wonderful distractions these days. There's so many, videos to watch and music to listen to and games to play. And so there are so many ways to kind of get lost in just that momentary distraction that goes on all day. And so this is getting a square from that Uranus, and Uranus is in your house of philosophy and belief and faith, but also adventure and travel. And so it's saying, look, go do things in the real world, put down the device and go on a hike or start to think about how you can sail around the world, or how you can go and be in nature and commune with God and the universe. And so, or look at your philosophical ideas, what are your guiding principles, and how can that be incorporated into your spiritual self? So I think that Uranus here is trying to not necessarily break your routine, but more to inspire you to do something that's a little bit different. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Mercury's making a semi-sextile to Saturn. So there is an opportunity to meet someone, but it's not super smooth. And that means that timing could be a little bit off, or there's something that you're uncertain about. And so you're hesitating a little bit. Maybe they want to go out and you're like, I don't know if this is going to work. So there's a little bit of friction, a little bit of dragging the feet. And so if you, though, pay attention to that, then you can say, oh, yeah, it's just coffee. We could do that. Then you'll probably move forward on it. But if you just let it be, then I think that you'll probably meet them outside this 2-week period. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Mercury's making a sextile to Neptune. Neptune's in a relationship house along with Venus. This is a really lovely energy. So the two of you can come together in more harmony than usual. You can agree on more things. When you do work together, it flows better. So this is really a great time to do something as a couple. Go on vacation together, just go on a date, just sit in front of the TV. And if you're going to be distracted, do it together, with popcorn and, discuss the movie, so this is really good energy. Now, when it comes to friendships, Mercury's making an inconjunct to the moon. So this means friendships are possible, but there has to be an adjustment on one side or the other. And so that is that maybe you do all the calling and, trying to get this friend to do something. And maybe you have to sit down with a friend and say, I keep having to initiate this, or I keep planning everything, etc. So you're asking the friend to adjust. Maybe your friend will ask you to adjust, do a different schedule, or that they want to go to monster trucks and you never want to go to monster trucks. I don't even know if that's still a thing. So, but anyway, so this is about adjusting something, and then the two of you can come and, be harmonious. If you're looking for new friends, the adjustment is probably getting out of the house, going to a new venue, interacting with new people. That's the way to connect and make some friends. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Venus, which is in a pretty tight square with Mars. Now, that energy is coming from your house of relationships, 7th house, and Mars is up in your 10th house of career. So this could be you reaching out to someone maybe you've worked with them in the past and they have an opening at the company they work for now, or, finding and meeting people through LinkedIn so that you can get a better job. This might be connecting with people at work that it's your existing job and saying you're interested in the promotion. So we have a lot of good energy and activities here. If you own a business, you might be reaching out to people and say, hey, if you know someone who wants my services, or I have a new product, can you tell your friends about it? So there's a lot of active energy going on when it comes to your money over the next 2 weeks. Now, when it comes to investments and money derived from business, everything I just said, I'm going to say again. So the energy is very strong, very, very active. It's very likely that you're going to be making more money over the next 2 weeks. That is more customers, more sales. Your investments seem to be going up. You have luck in this area. So things are really looking up, and this is just the beginning. So I do think that this is going to be a trend for a while for you. So I think that while you do want to actively pursue these opportunities, if you do get too busy over the next 2 weeks, know that this energy will line up in the future. Now, when it comes to money derived from your career, so like a paycheck, now it's a little quieter. The moon is not making an aspect with Venus. The moon is in a hidden house for you. And so it's almost like you're ready to ask for the raise, but your boss is putting you off. Maybe they're on vacation. Maybe you're on vacation. So there's something where you may have to do all of the work for this outside the 2 week period. It's also possible that this is just that little push to have you go do something else, maybe something on your own, or look for another job. You do have Mars elevated in your chart, so this is a possible job opportunity. So, if you're looking for a new job, then you may not yet be asking for a raise until you have secured that other offer, so then you can start to negotiate. So, but I think this is mostly that you and your boss are having a little trouble connecting. So it may take a little bit of effort if you want to sit down with your boss about a promotion or raise during this 2 week period. Okay, Libra, you guys are doing this full moon in your 11th house. That is about friendships, community, technology, and the future. And so this is about finding your tribe, pulling together with the community for a common goal. This is about friendships and connecting with others. And this is all getting that square from Uranus. And Uranus is in your 8th house. That's about resources and power and control, as well as intimate connections. And of course, we on this channel focus a lot on the resources from others. That's big for the 8th house as well. But with this square from Uranus, this is not just that many, many resources can come to you through friends and community, and so community is worth the effort, but also where there is some need to let go of some power or control in situations that are group situations. That is that, you can't always do exactly what you want when you want. And, I know that's obvious, but sometimes with a Leo moon, that can be difficult to swallow because, when we have a Leo moon, we want to do what we want when we want. So this is, though, like weighing that benefits of allowing somebody else to say what you're going to do or what direction the group's going to go, and you're still getting to benefit from all the extra resources that come in because you're in a community. So this is where I feel like Uranus is causing some sort of change of having you rethink the group, maybe deciding whether you want to be in different groups, try out new groups, as well as maybe groups that you've been thinking about going to, you finally do show up and see what that group is like. So that's where I think this Uranus square moon, full moon, is happening for you. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Venus is making a sextile to Uranus, and you are one of the few signs that actually has good energy for new love relationships at this time. So this is there's possibilities here. And so, how we talk about the full moon is the party. And so that's why you can meet somebody new at the party, because that's when all the things come together. That's when there's the height of energy. And so that is to go out and do things, to say, yes, we've been talking, maybe by text, let's get together in real life. Or maybe this is just getting out of the house and going some places and you can meet someone new. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Venus is making a square with Mars. That it does indicate that there is some things that the two of you need to work out, and this is the time where you might be working those out. And so generally you don't like a lot of confrontation, but sometimes the best way to deal with something is to confront it head on, not for a fight, but so that you both know that you're paying attention, that you're listening to each other, and that you are looking for some place where you can compromise. But this is that the energy is a little bit contentious. Okay, it's a lot contentious. And so if you want to deal with it in the most positive way, it would be to pick something outside of your relationship that the two of you work on together, whether that's a business or building a house or, getting a puppy, whatever it is. If you're working on a shared goal, this square energy can be very helpful. But if you are working on the relationship, then you might want to put on some boxing gloves, because this is contentious energy. Now, when it comes to friendships, the sun is making a semi-sextile to Venus. So there's an opportunity for you to expand your circle of friends. Of course, the full moon is there, so that's really highlighting this energy. So if friendship is something you've been looking for, then consider this is the 2-week period to go to the venues, to go out and meet new people, to go to the meetup groups, etc., so that you can be around new people. And from there, little seeds can be planted that will create friendships in the future. So this also might be a time where you're reaching out to people you already know and reestablishing some friendships. So this is good energy for you. Now, when it comes to your money, you are pulling money from that Pluto in the 4th house, home and family. What can you do about, pooling money together to do investments, or to, find the resources within the family, like your nephew knows how to build a website, your niece is an expert at marketing. So pulling together those types of resources. You're also pulling money from that Mars, which is now moving forward in that area of contracts and agreements, import-export, dealing with things overseas. Also all kinds of marketing, writing, publishing, teaching, things like that. The thing that I wanted to point out about the energy that you're doing is, of course, that South Node is still going through your 2nd house of money. And when that happens, what can occur is this idea of, well, I'm going to stick with what I've been doing. And so even when you think you're doing something new, you find you're in an old pattern. And the old pattern's comfortable, but it's not necessarily the road to success. So over this 2-week period, you might want to ask yourself, what is it that I keep doing? Where am I in the same groove that I've been before? What is the energy I keep repeating? And see if you can't shift that. Now, when it comes to money derived from a business or from investments, Venus is making a semi-square to Pluto, and then, of course, a square to Mars. So you've got a lot of energy here. So I do think that it is quite possible that you are going to make more money over the next 2 weeks, but it is not just coming out of the sky. This is a lot of work. So there may be more customers than usual, more clients coming in, more people that you need to negotiate with, You might need to watch your investments closely. Maybe you're getting to a point where it's time to cash in some of it or all of it. So maybe you're diversifying your holdings. So it's a very active time when it comes to these areas of your life. Now, when it comes to money derived from your career, like a paycheck, not only is the full moon there lighting this up, but the sun, while it's not making an aspect to Pluto, is making a trine to Mars. And so you have some really good energy, probably the best you've had all year. Okay, it's only February, but but it's good energy anyway for asking for a raise or getting higher commission or getting more hours if you're hourly, to find a better job. All of this is coming together. So there's very easy energy. Plus it's lit up. That means that your actions are seen. If you request a meeting from the boss, you can get it. So this is very good energy, and you will get other good times during the course of the year, but this is a good time right now. Okay, Scorpio, you guys are doing this full moon right at the top of your chart. This is the 10th house. This is about career, reputation, and social standing, which means you are very visible at this time, which for Scorpio is probably not as comfortable as you would like. So, because this is like there's a big spotlight on you. Now, it's wonderful if you're looking for a new job, if you are trying to get your creation seen, like you want people to come to your recital or to your art showing, if you want people to read your posts and like your posts. So all of that is very good, but it does make you feel a little bit like there's this big spotlight on you and everybody's noticing you. And this is being added to because the square from Uranus is coming from the 7th house of partnerships, collaborations, relationships of all kinds. So you want to lean into this over this next 2 weeks. The spotlight's going to be on you, and you will be able to reach people that you haven't been able to reach before, connect with people for collaborations or, a relationship, a friendship, some sort of partnership, a mentor, a teacher, somebody like that could come into your life. You can find the people who could be helpful now. So you don't really want to hide. And that's what the Uranus is squaring this moon for, is to say, don't hide this time, but reach out to someone because you're more likely to get a response now. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, of course, you're getting that sextile between Pluto and Mercury, plus Venus is there. This is really great energy for you right now with Venus there. It makes it even a little bit easier. So if you can step out the door, if you want new love, you can find it. If you have found that this is blocked, this is just, again, what the Uranus square moon can help you overcome. It would be going to a new place, meeting new people, finding some different venue to be at, some different meeting to go to, some new way to do this. So by making some sort of change that way, then you can make a connection. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, there's quite a bit of energy going on because Venus is making a semi-square to Pluto and a square to Mars. And so that means that there is big energy brewing here. Now, one of the best ways to use this energy would be for the two of you to come together on something you agree and really focus your activities on making that happen. So like getting engaged and planning the wedding, or moving in together and figuring out what you're going to do when you have two sofas. So that's a great use of this energy. If you are focused on working on the relationship, then this energy is quite contentious. And so that might mean that you need some sort of moderator or arbitrator between the two of you. And so pull in a friend to say, hey, we don't seem to be understanding each other with this concept. So can you help translate this energy for us? Or, can you just be the referee so that it feels a little bit more balanced or fair? So again, the best thing to do is to find a shared goal to work on. Then you can go from 0 to 60 in no time. But if you are already a little upset with each other, this could end up being a very contentious time. Now, when it comes to friendships, Pluto is making a sesquiquadrate to Mercury. That is It's an aspect that requires a lot of precision to make it go well, because otherwise it's kind of like it's easy to fumble. It kind of like I can picture it as, when the guy, he kind of has the football and he's bouncing it around and he can, like, is he going to catch it? Is he going to catch it? And when he does, it's like a miracle because it's bouncing around. It's not in his grip. And so that's what's going on with friendships for you. And so that means that it's quite easy to, do something and then make a little faux pas or say something and then it kind of rolls out of hand. But let's say you wanted to have a friendship with somebody who is outside your sphere. Maybe they are doing something that's quite extraordinary and you're not at that point yet. This is a time to reach out to them, because if you catch the ball, things go extraordinarily well. It's just that this is like playing the long shot. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Jupiter, which is not making too many aspects in this chart. We haven't mentioned it too often. So the energy around this Jupiter is very much of, head, nose to the grindstone, head down, working. This is a time where you've got the plans together, you know what to do. And so then you just, do step after step. You put one brick on top of the other until that building is built. So there is a little bit of semi-sextile energy with the North Node. And so there is going to be a little bit of a feeling like, oh, am I going exactly the right direction? Should I make a slight course correction? And so you may be pulling in somebody in your life to say, am I going quite the right direction? But I think for the most part, you are just moving forward, working away on the projects you've already started, and you're making good progress. Now, when it comes to money from your business or from investments, as I mentioned, Jupiter is not making an aspect with Mercury. Now, Mars in Gemini is there, so there's lots of information that you're dealing with. Maybe you're doing research, maybe you're working on marketing materials, or you're reading prospectuses, multiple prospectuses. So, to determine whether an investment is good. So, but you are making about the same as usual, and so that's. You're not having the big win during this time. That's okay, because wins can come outside this 2-week period. But right now, this is more focused on paperwork and learning and reading. I guess these days it would be watching videos. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, then again, no aspect between Jupiter and Mercury. And so Mercury is in a house of communication, and then we have that Mars in Gemini. And so we've got some things that are starting to brew. They're starting to come together. But I think if you were to ask for a raise at this time, you might get a little perk, like a discount off of pizzas or something, but it's just not... It's not really tangible, so you might want to ask outside this 2-week period. Okay, Sagittarius, you guys are doing this full moon in your house of experiences, adventure, exploring knowledge and other places. This is about also your faith, your belief, what's bigger and beyond you. And so this is getting that square from Uranus, which is in your house of daily routines. And so this is very much about how is your daily routines contributing to a life of adventure and experiences that you want to have. Are you doing things on a daily basis that help you go take the trips, or to go back to school, or to have more time where you can do prayer or meditation or go to church? So this is about disrupting your routines so that you can have what you're looking for. Now, this is also in your area of health and well-being. So this is also like shifting how you're taking care of yourself so that you have the energy to go do the adventure, or that you can walk up the stairs so that you can, go to, I don't know, I guess people don't get on an airplane going upstairs anymore, but, where you may feel that physical limitations are stopping you from the things you want to do. So this is where you change how you're taking care of yourself, and then you get to have more excitement, joy, adventure, etc. Now, when it comes to relationships, specifically new love, Mars is making a sextile to Jupiter, and Jupiter's in that house. Mars is in the house of relationships. This energy is really lining up well. So it says just go out of the house or make a date with somebody. Let somebody ask you out and say yes to it. Like, go have that experience. And if you don't have anybody to go out with, go to a place where there's lots of people, because this energy is great. So this is an opportunity to meet somebody new. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, there's no aspect going on between Mercury and Jupiter. Now, Mars is in that house, so you may be doing things together. You're not really working on the relationship itself. That's okay. The two of you are working on the different things, different aspects of the relationship. You're not really coming together. So, like, I don't know, maybe you take care of the garden and your partner takes care of the dishes or things like that. So it's not that you're really working on the relationship together, but you're moving forward in tandem, in harmony. And so with that Mars there's still a lot of activities that you're doing. And so I think this is pretty harmonious. But it's mostly going along as usual. Now, when it comes to friendships, Jupiter is making a semi-sextile with Venus. So there is an opportunity. It does mean there's a little bit of an adjustment that you have to make, a little bit of a detail you have to take care of. And maybe that's just picking up the phone and talking to someone you haven't talked to in a while. And then all of a sudden, you're best friends again. Or this is getting to the meeting and that sort of thing. So, you just have to make a little bit of an effort, and then friendships are possible. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Saturn, which is not something we've talked a lot about in this video, because Saturn is not making very strong aspects at this time. The one aspect that it is it's sitting in between the Neptune on one side and the Pluto on the other. Now, these two, the Neptune and Pluto, when they come together, that's a very intuitive connection. This is where you're really opening up to the power of the universe. Now, Saturn is sitting in between those and having one of two reactions. The first reaction could be, I'm not intuitive, this is not working, everybody else seems to be doing stuff, why aren't I? But the other one is tapping into that intuition and saying, I feel like this is the direction I need to go. I'm feeling that I'm being pulled in this direction or called in this direction. So that requires some stillness, some just being quiet and listening, which for Sagittarius can be difficult because you are fiery, like, let's get going. And so looking at that, maybe doing some journaling, some meditation, so something where you are asking yourself the question of, what am I being told? What am I hearing? Well, what's the message from the universe? And tap into that Neptune on one side, Pluto on the other. Now, when it comes to money derived from your business or from investments, the moon's not making an aspect to Saturn. And so therefore, you're making about the same as usual. But it doesn't look like you're really focused on, like getting new customers at this time or really expanding the business. You're clearly focused on other aspects of your life. So things are going along as usual, and so that's fine. But when this energy lines up, you'll have more energy for doing things. So if you've been feeling like, why aren't I working on this? It's just not the right time yet. And then when it comes to money derived from career, it's kind of the same story. Venus is not making an aspect to Saturn. And so again, there is this energy of, right now you should be quiet and listening, seeing if maybe you should be looking for a new job, or, when you are going to talk to the supervisor about your career path. But right now, this is more that the universe is trying to get your attention on some aspects of your life, and that information is more important right now than asking for the raise. I mean, that's really judgmental of me to say. It may be very important for you, and I'm sorry that if that's not the news you were looking for, but this is, when we look at the chart, it's not lining up. It's not going to be easy to get a raise right now, so try to wait till outside this 2-week period. Okay, Capricorn, you guys are doing this full moon in your house of resources from others, as well as power, control, intimacy, and investments, etc. So this is your 8th house. And so there is going to be a great deal of focus on these areas in your life, like what's in my control, what's out of my control, that sort of thing. This is all getting a square from Uranus in your house of self-expression, creativity, and fun, and pleasurable activities, your 5th house. So this is where you may be looking at your resources in general and saying, I don't have enough resources to go have fun, but this is where the creativity comes in. What can you do that doesn't cost much money so that you can put more money in savings, or you don't have to pull money out of savings? So this may be about being more creative in your business ventures, and so looking at different ways for you to gain resources for your business in a creative way, or what are the different types of investments that you could be doing. This may be about doing something a little bit more creative and fun when it comes to your intimate relationships, kind of getting outside of a routine that way. Mostly, though, this is very much about self-expression, who you are, and putting that into these connections that you have that are bringing you the resources. So that is, standing up for yourself if you need to be paid more, maybe raising your prices if necessary. Also, stating what you want when it comes to investments if you're talking to your broker, or stating what you want in your intimate relationship. So, and through this, you could also, though, bring in the whimsy and the fun that the Uranus can have, because, it's the unexpected. And when we put that in the 5th house, it can mean that you're breaking the routine up enough that you're having a blast. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, Venus is not making an aspect with Saturn right now. So what's more likely is that you're dealing with people you already know, that you've met a while back. Maybe there's someone who's a friend who becomes this new love relationship. But in general, this is not where your focus is. And so when it comes to, new love, if you're trying all the dating apps and all that, you want to activate that outside this 2-week period. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, there's no aspect between Moon and Saturn, so the energy is quite quiet. So what we're seeing here is that the two of you are just going along as usual, and where we get that spice is that the Uranus is making the square to the Moon, and so that is that you bring in something that's going to be fun, making a fun suggestion, like let's go bowling or go play pool or miniature golf. Well, miniature golf in February, that might be challenging. So, but you get what I mean. Maybe it's miniature golf in Bermuda. There you go. So, but that's where you're making this relationship fun, because right now, otherwise, you're just going to go through the same motions as usual. You're doing your stuff, they're doing their stuff, and you're not really, doing the things together. So if you make that little bit of an effort, you could have a really good time. Now, when it comes to friendships, Saturn's making a semi-sextile to Pluto, plus you have the South Node there. This is your 11th house, and so this indicates that somebody maybe that you knew a long time ago is coming back into your life, or maybe they returned during the recent Mercury retrograde period. And so now you are building on this friendship, or maybe you're getting back into a group that you used to belong to, or you're getting out more. And so you are going into groups and meeting new people. So you have some opportunities here. It's a semi-sextile. That means that the friction is just getting out of the house, getting to the place, walking in the door, that sort of thing. Once you do that, things are good. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money both from that Saturn, which is in your money house, as well as that Uranus that is extremely active in this chart. So this says that there is something that is coming to fruition now. So something you've been working on is really starting to blossom. Maybe it's the thing that you've been working on, you're launching it. This is the big fanfare time. Maybe that this is when the first customers are arriving and you're getting to charge them money. And so now things are happening. Like there are some good things happening here. Maybe it's a new job. Maybe it's something that you've been working on this for a while, and now is the time for celebration. This also makes for a very busy time, though. I will say you're not just sloughing off here. Not that Capricorn ever sloughs off, but this is a very busy, active time, which can be quite profitable. Now, when it comes to money derived from career or money from your investments, of course, the sun is making a square to Uranus. So again, high action, moving quickly. There are opportunities for the taking. You might receive different opportunities where customers are bringing their friends, where people are wanting to expand their choices, and that means more sales for you. There may be some investments that you need to be quite active about. So this is a time over the next 2 weeks where I would expect that you're going to be making more money than usual. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, Mars is making a semi-sextile to Uranus and Saturn's making a semi-sextile to Pluto. So you've got a lot of this slightly irritating, got to take an extra few steps, got to deal with the details sort of energy to get what you want. And it's interesting because the South Node is there also. So your inclination is just to do what you've done before. And the semi-sextile energy gives enough friction that you say, maybe I shouldn't do this right now. And I kind of agree. I know this energy is going to line up better in the future, so you don't have to just, use this semi-irritating energy to get what you want. But if you have been waiting for a long time, there is at least aspects, and that means you could get something. It may not be big, but it would be something. And so, again, for most people, I would say you probably want to wait until this energy lines up better in the future. Okay, Aquarius, you guys are doing this full moon in your house of relationships, partnerships, collaborations, new people in your life. And so that's what's highlighted. And it's getting that square from Uranus right at the base of your chart, which is kind of like a little earthquake in the foundations. And so that is that you look at the things that your family wanted you to do or the traditions of your family, and you're shaking those up. You may be breaking some family rules at this time, which, for Aquarius, that's good. That's what you're supposed to do anyway. You're supposed to look at the new things in the world and say, we don't have to stick with the old stuff. We can try something new. And so here you are being supported by your sign ruler, Uranus, and it's making the square to this full moon. So the things you've been thinking about doing, maybe dating somebody who is of a different race, religion, political party, they like a different sports team, maybe finding a way to make that work, or maybe just getting out of the house a little bit more. Maybe that's what this Uranus is. Maybe you're so focused on family that you need to then go out and meet new people. So, but mostly I think this is shaking up those family traditions or those family rules that don't necessarily work for you. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, there's no aspect going on between Mercury and Uranus. Now, Mars is there in Gemini, so there's a lot of energy to do it, but there is a little trouble actually making the connection. So that's the thing that you have to be aware of, is that you might be talking by text, but you can't get your schedules quite to line up, or that, worst case, like you go to a Starbucks and they go to the Starbucks across town, and so you're not seeing each other. So, you want to be careful if you are trying to meet someone during this 2-week period to make sure that the instructions are correct, or you really know when you're meeting. But most of this is you may be pursued during this time for a love relationship, but you're just not noticing that they want to go out with you, or maybe you're just feeling like it's not quite time yet. So I think that most of this positive energy will happen outside this 2-week period. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, the sun's making a square to Uranus, and so that is heightened energy. There is stronger energy between the two of you, and if you focus that energy on something that's practical, something that helps the relationship move forward, something you're doing together, it can be extremely beneficial. However, if you turn this energy on each other and start nitpicking each other, it can actually escalate into a full war. So you do want to be a little careful with this contentious energy. So pick something that you want to do together, renovate the kitchen, learn to ice skate, like something that you're doing where you're helping each other and focus your energy that way, and you're going to come together stronger than ever. But if you are looking at each other and saying, like, why can't you get the dirty laundry in the hamper, or why can't you show up on time, then that square energy is you two kind of bonking each other in the head, and that's not so good. Well, that's an understatement. Now, when it comes to friendships, Jupiter's making a semi-square to Uranus. That means there is an opportunity, but it's going to take a little bit of work to make it happen. And so that is, maybe you could connect with a friend, but they live pretty far, or you got to get out of the house so you can go to these meetings and you don't know anybody there. And so there's a little bit of, not so certain about things because you don't know if the group's going to be good or if the people will welcome you. But if you take the action, then you can get some positive results. So, but it's going to require a little bit of work. And so if you don't want to do that, you might want to wait until this energy lines up better. Now, when it comes to your money, you're pulling money from that Neptune as well as the Jupiter. Jupiter's now in Aries. And these are two planets that we haven't talked about too much during this because they're not making a lot of aspects at this time. So now, with your money, you also have Venus there. So this would indicate that you're spending a little bit more than usual, hopefully, and probably on things that you enjoy, things that you really wanted. The Jupiter, though, is in a semi-sextile with the North Node, which says that you're not entirely sure you're heading the right direction with your money, and so you might be looking for a little bit of a course correction. It's a minor thing because we know you're not going backwards because it's an inconjunct to the South Node, so you're definitely not going back to some old negative behavior. But this says if you tweak some of the things you're doing, you might get better results. And so, you just ask yourself, ask the universe, what's the little things that I could be doing differently to get better results? When it comes to money derived from your business or from your investments, Mercury is making a sextile to Neptune. So Neptune's in a money house. So that bodes well for making a little bit more than usual. This is going to take a little bit of, like jumping on the opportunity, but it is there. The opportunity will be clear and you'll be able to go for it. So this means possibly more customers, and maybe somebody gives you a lead and you need to email or follow up on it. But when you do, then you get some good results. It's also possible, like you're getting a good stock tip or investment opportunity. Again, it needs your follow-up. And when you do that, then good things can happen. Now, when it comes to money derived from career, even though there is no aspect going on between Jupiter and Neptune, this is a very active chart for you. So the Neptune's in a money house, and Uranus, your ruler, is squaring the full moon. So you are very noticeable at this time. So this is one of those times where you could pull in enough energy to get more money or more hours or some sort of extra benefit, although the benefit may not be financial. It may just be a discount on insurance or something, but it still could be helpful. So there is some energy here if you want to use it. Okay, Pisces, you guys are doing this full moon, lighting up your house of routines, health, and well-being. And so this is very much of you looking at how you get through your day, how do you start your day, how you end your day, what are the things that you're doing? Are they supporting your health, or are you doing things that are not supporting your health? And this is all getting that square from Uranus in your house of thinking process and ideas. And it is also the house of movements and activities. So this might be where you are saying, you know what, I got to go move more, but I want to do something enjoyable. So I'm going to go learn to dance, or I'm going to go bicycling. Well, bicycling in February. So maybe not bicycling. Maybe there's an indoor bike. Oh, well, yes, there's stationary bikes, of course. Duh. So this also could be that you're getting together with siblings or cousins and saying, let's work out together. Or this may be new ideas about routines in general. Maybe you want to get up earlier so that you can do some writing, or stay up later to get some work done on your business. So there is some changes going on, and they're starting with an idea. An idea maybe that you heard on YouTube, some productivity person saying, try this, something, and that changes your routines, and that's what really helps right now. Now, when it comes to love relationships, specifically new love, the moon's not making an aspect with Neptune. And so there's there's not a lot of energy right now for others. This is more about taking care of yourself and getting yourself centered and balanced, maybe doing a little bit of energy recovery now that, we've shifted into the new year and the new lunar new year. And so this is maybe just a time for you. So while somebody may be asking you out, you might not notice, or you may say, I don't want to see them right now. And so this is your time. Now, when it comes to existing love relationships, Mercury is making a sextile to Neptune. So now we see a lot of harmony between the two of you, opportunities to come together for, pleasant activities, good conversations, or if you want to just stay by yourself, you can. And then the relationship is not hurt by this in any way. It just, things move on. So you're doing a sextile. That means if you want to come together, you can. And if you don't, then it's okay too. Now, when it comes to friendships, you have some interesting energy because Saturn is making a semi-sextile to Neptune. And so the energy here is there is an opportunity, but you have to do something that is a little bit of an effort. There's a tiny bit of friction here. That means a little bit of need to get out of the house maybe and get to the venue. When you get to the venue, to smile, look up, and try to engage people who are looking at their phones. It is reaching out to maybe somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. But it starts with you doing some initiation of energy, and it's a small thing because it's a semi-sextile. It's just a little bit of friction to get over, and once you do it, then some good things can happen. Now, when it comes to your money, you are pulling money from that Mars, which is making a square to Venus in your own sign of Pisces. And so there is a lot of powerful energy going on. That might mean that something you've been working on is starting to form. It's starting to come together. The different pieces are starting to line up. It also can be that as you are wishing for someone to help you, that they appear, that, messages that you sent out a while ago are suddenly being answered and you're getting the help that you need. So this is a really good time to be focused on actively working on those business ideas and money-making ideas because you've got this positive energy. Now, when it comes to money derived from your business or from investments, I'm going to say the same thing because Mars is making that square to Venus, and that means that action is needing to happen and you're taking it. You see it needs to be done, you are doing it, the things on your list, you're checking them off, and that is making you more money. And that can be that you're getting your brokerage accounts established, that you are doing the investing, that you are, you've sent out all the marketing materials. Now the customers are coming in, so you're getting them booked, you're getting their merchandise sent, or those, whatever activities are needed, you are making those happen. So it is very likely you're going to be making more money over the next 2 weeks. Now, when it comes to money derived from your career, so that would be like a paycheck, Mars is not making an aspect with Saturn. And so the energy here is not lining up for a very easy time asking for more money. Because the full moon is in your house of work, what can happen is if you ask for more money on the job, you are going to just get more work and a promise of money later. So and this energy will line up in the future. You don't want to push it right now because what can happen is you end up with some contentious energy. Now, that all said, if you are looking for a new job, the 10th house ruler, which is Sagittarius, is Jupiter, and it's in your house of money. So you definitely want to negotiate for more money. If you're looking for a new job, you are doing great new job energy until May, so you really want to work on that. If you've been thinking about getting a new job, you've got this period of time where you could get a new job, get a higher salary, etc. So that's where to put your focus. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe and stay tuned because LaRue wants to say hi.